Okay, thank you very much for everyone that is interested in this topic and is here to listen a bit about nutrition and climate change. What I want to present to you, I'm sure that you are already convinced that climate change has a huge implication for nutrition and that nutrition considerations have to be taken seriously when the discussions on climate change are taking place globally. So what I wanted to highlight to you is mostly why do we care, why should we care about these linkages about nutrition and climate change? Well, first of all, climate change will impact nutrition through many different pathways. One obvious pathway is through the increase in food insecurity in countries that will be generated by climate change, but there are also other pathways that will influence nutrition, and that are pathways that are related to health, um, to to better care, capacity of mothers to care for their children, but also other pathways connected to sanitation and water. But the problem is how can we act? Because in all the climate change agenda, especially on the linkages, for example, with food security and nutrition, there's a big question mark. What can we do? And how can we address this? What can we do individually? And what can we do as a community that is concerned about this issue? So what we have done from the Standing Committee on Nutrition of the UN, we have convened a group of people that are concerned about this topic that are discussing in an electronic forum that everyone that's interested can participate. And this electronic forum on nutrition and climate change developed a policy guidance that you can find on the WHO booth there, where we identified all the actions that need to take place to deal with nutrition and climate change. And I will summarize them very broadly. First of all, direct nutrition interventions to build resilience to climate impacts have to be put in place, such as promotion of good hygiene practices, micronutrient supplementation, therapeutic feeding, but also climate resilient agriculture should be nutrition friendly. We've been discussing a lot here on how to make these linkages, and this is a fundamental linkage when we think of the climate change and the implications that we will have very soon. Also, the social protection schemes have to be more and more put in place that will have proven effect in addressing undernutrition and also creating resilience to climate change. But how can we actually go about this? Because as a community, in fact, we have to find entry points to the broader discussion on climate change. So all this document that was produced, that I just presented to you, was actually produced for the COP16 meeting in Cancun. And there were many people that came, many of our partners, many of the NGO partners that went to Cancun and really did an immense job with the delegations that were in the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change to bring nutrition more prominently into the agenda. This was a very thorough work done by several of partners that have been talking to all the delegations, have been talking to the representatives of the different governments, calling them attention to the policy brief, calling them their attention to what kind of actions need to take place in climate change. And we've learned some lessons from this experience in COP16. First of all, that we still have a long way to go. Nutrition still remains largely disconnected from the key climate change initiatives and all the work of the Framework Convention and the Convention of the Parties. We also learned that, we also learned that the entry point is there, and that is the entry point that we should use. The next opportunity and the next steps will be for being active in COP17, and this is what we are currently proposing you to join the effort, to join the movement, and maintain the collaboration developed during COP16 with the countries and with the NGOs, and further synthesize CCC parties, observers, and research communities to address nutrition in the climate change towards COP16, 17. We have very concrete steps that have to be taken from now until COP16 takes place. There's a very tight deadline, but all of this you can find in the documents that we have in the booth of WHO if you want to join the effort of making sure that we now bring nutrition into the COP17 discussions and the climate change agenda. Thank you.